बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। कस्तूरीतिलकं ललाटपटले वक्षस्थले कौस्तुभम् नासाग्रे वरमाक्तिकम् करतले वेणुकरे कंकणम् सर्वांगे हरिचन्दनं सुललितं कंठे च मुक्तावली गोपस्त्री परिवेष्टितो विजयते गोपालचूड़ामणि। नमः कमलनाभाय नमः कमलमालिने नमः कमलपादाय नमस्ते कमलेक्ष यो ब्रह्माणं विदधाति पूर्वं यो वै वेदांश्च प्रहिणोति तस्मै तद्वं हदेवमात्मबुद्धिप्रकाशं मुमुक्षुर्वै शरणमहं प्रपद्ये। बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। पूजनीय पंडित जी, प्रिय भक्त समुदाय, महान भाव, Worshipful Pandit ji, Pandit Sunil Bhai, devotees of the Supreme Lord, the Divine Souls. First, let me say Radhe Radhe to each and everyone, and my pranam, my humblest prostrations to everyone. As customary, before, just to mention, today we are at the Sri Hindu Samaj Temple Mandir in Pretoria in South Africa. Doing our short tour this time in South Africa. It's a great pleasure to be here, to join with Pandit Sunil Bhai and others in divine Satsang. We will first chant the divine bhajan written by Jagat Guru Tam Shri Kripalu Mahaprabhu, and following that we will hear some spiritual talk. Page 16, bhajan number 25. So this bhajan is saying, let us chant the divine name of God all the time. Gao chinna chinna naam radhe. Every moment chant the name of God. Dhyao chinna chinna roop radhe. While chanting, meditate on the divine form of God, of Radharani. Agati ki gati tu hi radhe. God is the one who gives shelter to those who don't have shelter. Leaving you aside, where else can I go? Mangu bhukti na mukti radhe, mangu tava pad prem. A devotee desires neither bhukti, worldly and heavenly pleasures, nor mukti, to merge into the formless aspect of Bhagavan. They desire love for the lotus feet of the Lord forever. So like this few lines we'll sing, and then we will listen to some talk. Radhe Radhe, Shri Radhe Radhe Radhe, Radhe Radhe, Shri Radhe, Radhe Radhe, Shri Radhe Radhe Radhe, Radhe Radhe, Gao Chin Chin Naam Radhe, Gao Chin Chin, Dhyao Chin Chin Roop Radhe, Shri Radhe Radhe Radhe, Dhyao Shri Radhe Radhe Radhe, Agati ki gati tu hi Radhe, Agati to hi taji kit jau Radhe, Shri Radhe Radhe Radhe, kit jau Radhe, Shri Radhe Radhe. O Radhe Radhe, Shri Radhe Radhe Radhe, Radhe Radhe, Mangu bhukti na mukti radhe, Mangu bhukti na, Mangu tava pad prem radhe, Shri Radhe Radhe Radhe, Mangu tava pad prem radhe, apna choru pacha tera radhe, apna choru प्यार करे या मारे मोही राधे, श्री राधे राधे राधे, करे या मारे मोही राधे, माया वश में तो भूला राधे, माया वश में तो तूने काहे भुलाया मोही राधे, श्री राधे राधे राधे, काहे भुलाया मोही राधे, श्री राधे राधे राधे, ओ राधे राधे, श्री राधे राधे राधे, अस वरदे वरदे मोही राधे, तो सो कभू कछु नाही मांगू, श्री राधे राधे राधे, ओ वेद जी कहा ब्रह्म सो वेद, पायो नहीं जाति पद रज सोही चाहतव पद रज राधे श्री राधे 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 पद रज राधे श्री राधे 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 श्री राधे 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 हमारी ओर न हेरु राधे हमारी ओर अपनी ओर निहारो मेरी राधे श्री राधे 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 मोसो को याचक नहीं राधे तो सो अवधर दानी नहीं राधे श्री राधे 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 ओ राधे राधे श्री राधे 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 तेरा बल तेरा नाम राधे तेरा बल तेरा काओ दिन आना होगा तू ही राधे श्री राधे 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 कृपालु भूत जगत बहु हो माता न जगहु राधे श्री राधे 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 हो माता न जगहु राधे ओ राधे राधे श्री राधे 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 श्री ओ राधे राधे श्री राधे 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 श्री राधे बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। Now, let us try to pay attention and listen very carefully. We are all searching for something in the world. Every action we perform in this world is for one thing only, and that is sukh, anand, happiness. That happiness cannot be found in any person or object in the world. We think we can find happiness in the world. Many people think they have found happiness in the world. Somebody says, the day I got my job was the happiest day of my life. I was dreaming and planning of this day, and today all my dreams came true. But is this true happiness? No. Every happiness we have attained in this world is not true happiness. Even then, very simple people will say, I have found happiness in the world. Not the great big happiness of God, Bhagavan, but I have found happiness. It obviously implies we do not understand what happiness means. The Vedas give a definition for happiness. Yovai bhuma tat sukham bhumaiva sukham, Chandogya Upanishad. The Vedas say that which is infinite, immeasurable, eternal, beginningless, is called sukh, a happiness. Once attained, it is possessed forever. We will never experience sorrow ever again. We'll never become separate from it ever again. That kind of happiness you can't find in the world. Something makes us happiness now, next moment we are sad. Not only that, that thing which has given us happiness ends up giving us sorrow. So if there is happiness, where can we find it? The Vedas tell us that happiness, we can find happiness only in God. Why? Because God is happiness. Raso vai sahar sakvam hevayam labdva nandi bhavati. Taittiriya Upanishad chapter 2 verse 7. The Vedas say God, Shri Krishna, is Anand, bliss, ras, happiness. Yovai Anando Brahmeti Vajana, Taittiriya Upanishad chapter 3 verse 6. God is Anand, bliss, happiness. So all the scriptures are telling us, from Ved, everywhere telling us, the only place we can find happiness, true lasting happiness, is in God, Bhagavan, because God is happiness. Now, some people say we have heard about a place called heaven, Swarga, and that we can find happiness in heaven. So can we find happiness in heaven? Today we'll look at that a little bit. There are many, many heavenly regions. Mainly, Bhu, Bhuvaha, Swaha, Mahaha, Janaha, Tapaha, Satya. The main. But there are many heavenly regions and many classes of heavenly happiness. A very detailed description of the happiness found in the various heavenly regions is given in the Taittiriya Upanishad. The Vedas, Taittiriya Upanishad, chapter 2, verse 8. Saisha nandasya mimansa bhavati yuvasyat sadhu yuvadhyayakah ashishto dadhishto balishto tasya prithvi sarva vittasya purna syat sa eko manush ananda teshatam manusha ananda sa eko manush gandharvanam ananda teshatam manush gandharvanam ananda sa eko deva gandharvanam ananda teshatam deva gandharvanam ananda sa ekah pritrinam chiraloka lokanam ananda teshatam pitrinam chiraloka lokanam ananda sa ek ajana janam devanam ananda teshatam ajana janam devanam ananda sa ekah karma devanam ananda teshatam karma devanam ananda sa eko devanam ananda teshatam devanam ananda sa eka indrasyananda teshatam indrasyananda sa eko brihaspati ananda teshatam brihaspati ananda sa ekah prajapati ananda teshatam prajapati ananda sa eko brahman ananda. Taittiriya Upanishad chapter 2, verse 8. Long Ved mantra. What is the Ved mantra saying? Supposing there's a young person, a young man in this world, in the prime of his youth, most strongly built, most energetic, most learned, most virtuous, everything you could think about most. In Hindi, when someone has something in excess, in a great amount, the word Van is added to it. Dhanavan, Balavan. So all the Van you can think about, he has it. Now, supposing the rule of the entire world, filled with all the wealth and luxury, were to be given to that young man, plus all the subjects are favorable to him. In ancient times, there used to be kings who ruled the whole world. One king, Ambarish, Dhruv, Prahlad, etc. Then later on, every country had a king. Today there are very few kings. One or two maybe, and they don't really have any power. But we have people like President, Prime Minister. But even then, not everyone likes them, they're not favorable. But this young man, the rule of the entire world has been given to him, filled with all the wealth and riches. And all the subjects love him, they are favorable to him. He will be considered to be the happiest man in the world. The happiness of such a king, multiplied hundreds of times, is equal to the happiness of one Manav Gandharva. This is the first stage, class of heavenly happiness. Gandharva. These are celestial beings who sing, they have musical skills, they sing, dance, etc. better than anyone in the material world. So, Manav Gandharva. The happiness of one Manav Gandharva, multiplied hundreds of times, is equal to the happiness of one Dev Gandharva, little bit higher. The happiness of one Dev Gandharva, multiplied hundreds of times, is equal to the happiness of one of the Pitris. There's an abode called Pitrilok, where the ancestors reside. So the happiness of one Dev Gandharva, multiplied hundreds of times, is equal to the happiness of one of the Pitris, the ancestors, in the abode of the Pitris. The happiness of one of the Pitris, multiplied hundreds of times, is called the happiness of one Ajana Jadev, one who is born in heaven as a Devata. The happiness of one Ajana Jadev, multiplied hundreds of times, is equal to the happiness of one Karmadev. The happiness of one Karmadev, multiplied hundreds of times, is equal to the happiness of one Devata, celestial being, celestial God. Agni, the god of fire, Vayu, the god of wind, Kuber, the god of wealth, etc. The happiness of one Devata, multiplied hundreds of times, is equal to the happiness of Indra, Swarga Raja, the king of heaven. The happiness of Indra, multiplied hundreds of times, is equal to the happiness of Brihaspati, the preceptor, the guru of the Devatas. The happiness of Brihaspati, multiplied hundreds of times, is equal to the happiness of Prajapati. And the happiness of Prajapati, multiplied hundreds of times, is equal to the happiness of Brahma, the creator. This is the highest heavenly region. The abode of Brahma the Creator, is called Satyalok. This is the highest heaven. But there is no happiness, true happiness, to be found even in the abode of Brahma, Satyalok. Look, logically, there is no happiness to be found in any person or object in this world. We have already come to that conclusion from the definition of happiness. So zero multiplied by 100, remember we kept multiplying hundreds of times. 0 multiplied by 100, 0. 0 multiplied by 1,000, 0. 0 multiplied by 1,000,000, 0. 0 multiplied by 1,000,000,000,000, 0. No matter how many times you multiply by 0, you will get 0. Bhagavan Krishna says in Gita, "A Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravartino Jana Mam Pitit Kaunteya Punarjanmana Vidyate." Chapter 8, verse 16, Gita. All these heavenly regions, from the abode of Brahma, the highest heavenly region, downwards, they are all destructible. There's a time limit. Only for a certain time and then finish. And only upon attaining God, Sri Krishna, God realization, we don't come back in this world and suffer. We attain happiness, supreme bliss forever. Look, the Vedas, this is the greatness of Sanatana Dharma. Whatever you want, the scripture tells you how to get it. It's like a grocery. You go in the grocery, you get anything. So many different things. So whatever you want. So the Vedas, they tell us how to go to heaven. If someone has a desire that I want to go to heaven, Swarg, then Vedas will tell you, do this, do that, do this kind of dharma, karma. Very difficult. There are 6 conditions to be fulfilled. Dharma sampadhyate shadvi, the dharmastu viparyaya. Bhagavad Mahapuran. Vedavyas says in Bhagavad Mahapuran, shadvi, there are 6 conditions to fulfill in order to perform dharma, and all impossible in Kali. But if someone can fulfill all those conditions, the end result, he will go to heaven. The Vedas are telling us how to go, and then the Vedas are saying, listen to what the Vedas say about heaven. Avidyaya mantare vartamana Swayam dhira panditam manyamana Janghanyamana pariyanti mudha Andhe naiva niyamana yathandha. Mundak Upanishad, first Mundak, second Kand, 8th mantra. The Vedas are saying, those who speak highly about heaven and that you can find happiness there, they are foolish, mudha. And if others listen to them and follow them, it's a case of blind leading the blind. Ante naiva niyamana yathandha. Again the Vedas say, Ishta purtam manyamana varishtham Nanya shreyo vedayante pramudha Nakasya pushtete sukhtena bhutimam Lokam hitanam va vishanti. Mundak Upanishad, first Mundak, second Kand, 12th mantra. The Vedas are saying, those people who want to go to heaven, Swarg, and perform action to go there, which is very difficult, they are not only ordinary fools, but the greatest fool. Mudha means murk, fool. And in Sanskrit, when you put the prefix pra before a word, it means the greatest. Pramudha. Ramura. Look, let's understand this a little more. This human body, there are 8.4 million forms of life. And the human birth has been told to be the most superior and most difficult to attain. The rarest and most difficult. Ihache dashakat bodhum prak sharirasa vissasa tata sargeshu lokeshu sharirattvaya kalpate Kathopanishad. Second canto, 3rd chapter, 4th verse. The Kathopanishad says, O human beings, having acquired this very rare human birth, immediately try to attain the aim of God realization, for which human birth alone can give. Otherwise, you will have to keep rotating in the 8.4 million forms of life as ordained by divine law. How long it takes to get birth in the human form? Sargeshu. The Ved mantra says Sargeshu, Sarga. Sarga means kalp. One kalp is equal to 12 hours of Brahma. It's called one kalp. 14 manvantars. One manvantar, 71 chaturyug. 306,720,000 years, one manvantar, the age of one manu. 14 manu, 14 manvantar, 12 hours of Brahma, the creator. So multiply 306,720,000 by 14, approximately 4.3 billion years. That is one kalp. So sarg means kalp. And here, sargeshu, plural, bahuvachan. After many kalp, we get a chance to get birth in the human form. Out of the causeless mercy of Bhagwan. Bhagwan Shri Ram in the Ramayana says to the residents of Ayodhya, Kabahu kakari karuna nardehi Det isha binu hetu sanehi. Bhagwan Shri Ram said to residents of Ayodhya, very rare, very seldom does the Supreme Lord, who loves the individual soul, bestow upon it birth in the human form. So valuable, so rare. Why is this human birth so valuable? In the Ramayana, there's a katha called Saptaprashan. Very famous, bahut prasiddha hai. Ye katha. Kargavasudha ji has been asked 7 important questions by Guruji Maharaj. The first and most important question was, Prathama hi kahu nath mati dhira sabte durlabh kavan sarira. Guruji says to Kargavasudha ji, O Guruji, O my strong-minded master, first of all, tell me, which is the rarest and most difficult birth to attain in the 8.4 million forms of life? Kargavasudha ji answered and said, Naratanu samanahi kavani hudehi jiva charachar jachat jehi. There is no form equal to the human form. It is so valuable. Char achar. The animate as well as inanimate desires birth in the human form. Even Devtas, celestial beings, celestial God. Many of us Hindus, Sanatanis Hindu, we pray to Devtas, celestial beings. Indraya Namah Swaha, Agne Namah Swaha, Vayave Namaha Swaha, Agni, the god of fire, Vayu, the god of wind, Indra, the king of heaven, the god of rain. We pray to Devatas. But these same Devatas are praying to Bhagavan, to God, Shri Krishna, for what? Durlabham manusham janma pradhyate tirashairapi. Narad Puran. The Devatas are praying to Shri Krishna. Hey Shri Krishna, we are begging you, praying to you, please give us birth in the human form. We don't want heaven, there is nothing. As we just showed. There's a reminder to Bhagavan Shri Ram says to the residents of Ayodhya, Bade Bhagya Manush Tanu Pava Sura Durlabh Sadagrantha Nigava. It is the greatest fortune for the soul that acquires birth in the human form. Sur means Devata, celestial gods. Sura Durlabh, it is extremely difficult, actually impossible for them. They are begging and praying and can't get this human birth. So valuable. Why? Human birth has been told to be superior to all forms of life because of knowledge. The great saint Bhartrihari says, Ahar Nidra Bhayamay Thunani Samanya Me Tat Pashubhir Narana. Bhartrihari says, as far as eating, ahar, nidra, sleeping, bhai, fear, maitun, mating are concerned, human beings are just like animals. Not going to go in detail, actually they are better than us. We're worse than them. So what makes human beings superior to all the animals, etc. in the 8.4 million forms of life? So in the second line of the same shlok, Bhartrihari says, Jnanam hitesha madhiko vishesho jnane nahina pashubhis samana. Jnana. Madhiko vishesho. God has blessed human beings with an abundance of jnana, knowledge. The power to discriminate, to know right from wrong, real from unreal, is the powerful instrument of discrimination found in human beings and not the other creatures. This is what places human beings on a higher plane to all the other forms of life. So knowledge, because of knowledge, human beings are told to be superior. But then why do Devatas want human form? Their knowledge are far, far superior to ours. Leaving aside the saints, those who have attained God, is there any human being who can claim to be as knowledgeable as Saraswati, Brihaspati, the authorities of knowledge? No. The knowledge of the Devatas are far, far superior to human beings. Why then do Devatas want human birth? Now, there's a reason. Katum mayoyam purusha tasmat katum kurvit. The Vedas say only in the human form the action we bear, the action we perform bears fruits, good or bad. Even Devatas, their action do not bear fruits. Those who live in heaven, whom we call Devatas, they are Bhog Yoni. Bhog Yoni means they are only enjoying the fruits of their past action. In heaven, there's no plus, only minus. There you can't earn, you only spend. The same thing with other creatures. Animals, birds, insects. tree, grass, amoeba, all this, they are all enjoying the fruits of the past action. So all, besides human beings, all other forms of life, even devatas, they are bhoga yoni. They are only enjoying the fruits of the past action. So only in the human birth we can do purusharth. Two things are necessary to become free from Maya, to attain God. One is Gyan, knowledge, and the other is Purusharth, fruit-bearing action. The Devatas, they have knowledge far, far superior to ours, but they don't have Purusharth. And that's why Devatas also are praying and begging for birth in the human form. We people, we don't understand the value of this thing called human body, this human birth. How rare and how difficult it is to attain. We don't get it again and again. As I told you, the Vedas, Kathopanishad is saying, after billions and billions of years, we get a chance to get birth in the human form. And only by the costless mercy of Bhagavan, His costless grace. And this is why we are warned. Bhagavan Shri Ram warns us in the Ramayana. He says, Ehi tan kar phal vishayan bhai, swargahu swalp ant dukhdai. Bhagavan Shri Ram was given lecture. In 11,000 years, when the Lord came as Shri Ram in Treta Yuga, He stayed 11,000 years. Once He called everyone in Ayodhya and He gave a lecture. Many things I told you, Paribhag, Manush, Pava, etc. Many wonderful things He told us. A short lecture, but some of the greatest philosophy. And He said here, having told that even Devatas, celestial gods, are begging and praying for this human body that is so valuable, it's called Dev Durlabh. Having gotten this wonderful human birth, this wasn't given to us just to enjoy the senses, sensual pleasures. Ehitana karaphala vishayana bhai. Nor was it given to go to heaven, Swarga. Swargahu swalpa. Swalpa means very small, non-existent, as I showed in the beginning. In the Taittiriya Upanishad, that the happiness in heaven are only those of this material world multiplied a number of times. And since there is no happiness here, true happiness, no matter how much you multiply by zero, you will get zero. So there is no happiness there also. And the worst part, Swargahu swalpa ant dukhdai, it ends in suffering. After going to heaven, we are going to suffer. What does Bhagavan Shri Ram mean? Bhagavan Shri Krishna tells us in Gita, Tetam bhuktva swargalokam visharam kshine punye martyalokam vishanti evam taridham anupapanna gatagatam kam kamalabhanti. Chapter 9 verse 21 Gita. Bhagavan Krishna says, remember I told you, if we perform dharma, Karam dharma, Vedic rites and rituals, Varanashram dharma, which is extremely difficult. I told you there are 6 conditions to fulfill and all impossible in Kali. Anyhow, if someone can fulfill those conditions, we acquire something called punya, spiritual merits. which will determine which heavenly region we will go to and for how long. I described all the heavenly regions in detail in the beginning. Now, having gone there, Sri Krishna is saying what happens? As soon as we start enjoying the pleasures of heaven, something happens. Kshine punya. That punya, which is so difficult to acquire, starts destroying. As you enjoy, you lose. Like you put money in the bank and you start withdrawing. Because you cannot put money, you cannot replace it. In heaven you can't earn, you cannot replace it. It starts getting smaller and smaller, it starts decreasing. Until one day it will finish, it will become zero. And then what will happen? Martyalokam Vishanti will be thrown out. Because karma, punya has become zero, will be thrown out of heaven. Finish. You had a good time. Chutti ho gaya, finish. Khatam. The holiday is finished. Go back. And you will say, okay, I had a good time. In heaven, it's not true happiness, but there is no old age. We don't suffer from old age, no physical disease, like the COVID and all these things we have in this world. Nothing like that in heaven, no physical disease. Mental diseases are there, all greed, anger, jealousy, hatred, lust, everything. It's still Maya, but no physical disease. We don't suffer from hunger and thirst. The body of the devatas are not like made up like ours. This body we have is made of 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and space. Their body is not made up like that. They don't perspire. They don't have to take bath. There's such a fragrance and beauty in the body of the devatas that if the lowest of the heavenly being were to descend, devata, and stand in our midst, our senses would be unable to bear the ecstasy, and either we'll fall on unconscious or we'll fall on dead. So yeah, all that is there. So we'll think, okay, I had a good time, I enjoyed. Now I'll go back in the material world and do some more dharma and go again. No. Remember, karma has become zero. We have nothing to get back to come back to human birth. That Veda mantra I told you, Ishta Bhurtam Mandamana Varishtham Nanya Chreyo Vedayante Pramudha Nakasya Prishtete Sukhtena Bhutemam Lokam Hindram Bhavishanti. Mundak Upanishad, first Mundak, second Kan, 10th mantra. The Vedas say, the person who wants to go to heaven is not only an ordinary fool, but the greatest fool. Why? Because after he enjoys heaven, he'll be thrown into lower forms of life. Hina taram, hina yoni mein, patak jayega. In other words, today we enjoy in heaven as a devata, celestial God, and tomorrow the soul is thrown into the womb of a dog, cat, donkey, worm, tree. Such a position of superiority to one of such inferiority. Imagine, today you are the president of a country. People give you so much respect, they salute you everywhere you go. And tomorrow you become a beggar. People don't even look at you. They may spit on you. We can't imagine the suffering. And that's nothing compared to someone being a devata. One moment and next moment in the body of a worm, a grass, a stray dog. So this is what Bhagavan Shri Ram in the Ramayana means when he says Anta Dukkadai. It ends in suffering. And that's why the Devatas also prayed for human birth. Because there's no true happiness in heaven. We have been to heaven uncountable times. We, the soul, the Atma. Remember, we're not the body. This body belongs to me. This is my body. And whatever belongs to me cannot be me. I say my house, my motor car, but I never say I am the house, I am the motor car. In the same way, my body. So body belongs to me. And body is very valuable. But I'm not the body, I'm the soul, the Atma. And the soul is na jayate mriyate va kadachinayam bhutva bhavitavana bhuyah ajo nitya shashvatoyam purano nahanyate hanyamane sharire. Gita chapter 2 verse 20. Shri Krishna says the Jivatma, the individual soul who we are, never takes birth, nor does it die. Nor having come into existence, does it cease to be, because it is unborn, eternal, and most ancient. It is not destroyed, even when the body is destroyed. Nahanyate hanyamane sharire. So it means we have been in existence from beginningless time. Ever since God have existed, we the Jivatma, the individual souls, have also existed. Beginningless time. It means we have gotten birth in human form uncountable times. Every form, in the 8.4 million forms. Akar chari lakh chaurasi yoni brahmat yah jiva avinasi. Bhagavan Shri Ram is saying that lecture, the residents of Ayodhya, the Jivatma, the individual souls who we are, is indestructible, avinashi, eternal, beginningless, but it keeps rotating, brahmata. It keeps rotating in 8.4 million forms of life. Uncountable times we have taken birth. In every form, dog, cat, donkey, worm, tree, grass, devata. We have been to heaven uncountable times. But there also we have not found happiness. We have to come back right here and suffer. But we have a wonderful opportunity. This thing called human birth. This is one of the greatest blessings God can give to the soul. Jagat Guru Shankaracharya said something very wonderful. Durlabham trayameva tad daivanugrahakarakam manushyatam mumukshutvam mahapurusha sambhava. Adi Jagat Guru Shankaracharya, he says 3 things. Durlabham trayameva. 3 things are most difficult to attain. And that too, only by the grace of Bhagavan, Daiva Nugraha, when God will shower His grace. What are the 3 things? Number 1, Manushyatvam, birth in the human form. We have that. Number 2, Mumukshutva is a big one. Mumukshutva means a longing, a yearning for God. A lot of people do puja, go to mandir, go to church, masjid, etc. But how many people want to know God, have a longing and yearning for God? Very few. That is called mumukshutva, lalasa in Brajabhasha. And third one, Mahapurusha Sambhava. To have the association of a true saint, the true Guru. If anyone has gotten these 3, you have attained everything. Because with that, we can become free from this endless cycle of birth and death, that we never have to come back here. The ultimate aim of life is God realization, not to go to heaven even. We have been there uncountable times. And if we do not do what we are supposed to in this human birth has been given for one thing. What is that? To do bhakti. That we can become free from this Maya and go to Bhagwan, that we never have to come back here and rotate. If we don't do it, we do not take some time and devote ourselves to God, to Bhagwan, then we'll have to keep rotating in that 8.4 million forms of life as ordained by divine law. So devotees, we have a wonderful opportunity. This human birth is a golden opportunity. We do not get it again and again. It's very difficult and rare to get. We have it now. Are we making the right use of it? Are we just thinking about enjoying this worldly life? Some people think about life. What is life? To take birth, to get an education, to get a good job, to earn money and put in the bank, to get married, to have children, and that's it. That's life. That's life. That's all I think is life. That is Charvak. Those people will after leading a meaningless life, will only fall into lower forms of life in the next birth and have to rotate in that endless cycle of birth and death. We have to realize the value of this human birth and what we have to do. We have a golden opportunity. But remember, one last thing, this human body is Kshanabhangur. Videha had a great opportunity to meet 9 Yogeshwars, 9 sons of Rishabh Bhagwan, 9 God among yogis. Having worshipped them to the highest, the first thing he said to them, Durlabho manusho deho dehinam kshanabhangura tatapi durlabham manye vaikuntha priya darshanam. Srimad Bhagavad Mahapuran, 11 Canto, 2nd chapter, 29 verse. Videhanani said to the 9 Yogeshwars, first, this human body is extremely rare and difficult to attain. The rarest and most difficult thing to attain. But it has a problem. Durlabho manusho deho Dehinam Kshanabhanguraha. It is Kshanabhangur. At which moment we can lose it, nobody knows. No one of us could guarantee that I will wake up and see tomorrow. Nobody. And yet we keep procrastinating. We keep making plans. Yeah, I will do devotion. I will worship God. Not right now, I'm too busy. Tomorrow. This tomorrow we have been saying from beginningless time. Always, the Vedas say, Na shwa shwa upasi, koi purusha shva be. Stop saying shwa shwa. Shwa means tomorrow, kal. Do it now. We have no guarantee. And the other thing he said, by kuntha priya darshanam, to have the association of a true saint, one who has attained God, who can give us a true knowledge. So we need to understand the value of human birth, why we're here in this world, how valuable this is and what we can do with it. It's important. The ultimate aim of life can be attained only in human birth. And there's much more, but I think that's enough for today. The rest we'll hear some other time. Bole Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. Syavar Ramchandra ke jai. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Jai